Ah, yes, Boba Fett, one of our favorite characters in the world of Star Wars, until Disney decided to. Now, LEGO has done 2 Jabba the Hutt palaces in the past, and now have done the Boba Fett Palace Throne Room. The first one we won't really talk about though. The second one is the one that everyone is comparing with the newest Boba Fett Throne Room. I found the Throne Room at Costco for $80 each. I thought, why not make just a little bit bigger of a version, right? I wasn't thinking straight. I decided to go full send on creating a giant MOC. Can't build a Rancor pit without a Rancor, and perfect for me. Right after the Boba Fett show was released, the Rancor pit only went up to over $100. I was crying inside. So I thought, why not buy a knockoff for only $5? I know, I betrayed the LEGO community. How dare I? But my friend Elijah let me borrow his Rancor in the meantime, his real one, until my knockoff showed up, which it actually just showed up. And to compare the two, pretty similar.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Now here's the thing, I wanted to create a MOC with a specific size, one that I could actually keep up and not have to tear down because it takes up my whole living room, and also my wallet didn't want me to do that. So I decided that it was going to be 2 base plates wide and 1.5 deep, and I wanted to keep it around 4,000 to 5,000 pieces. If you guys missed out on the previous episodes of the series, you can go check those out, but to sum it up, I just winged it. But before I show you guys the whole thing, here's a little stop motion showing off the set. No, I'm sorry.
How are we supposed to get in? They've got guards.
I know a way in.
Where am I? What was... Oh no. Oh no. Oh,
You're gonna need to hurry up.
Is that better?
Alright, you guys, here's the build in all its glory. I hope you guys enjoyed that short, little cheesy stop motion video that I made showing off the set. Now we're going to jump into the actual build. So this ended up being around 5,000 pieces, but I am cheating, okay? I am counting the Slave 1 pieces. So if you take that out, it's about 4,300 or so pieces. It is fully modular, so you can take the roof off, back to tank, the throne room, so you can access everything in the build. So we have 20 minifigs in the set, also 1 Rancor. We're going to have 4 Tusken Raiders, Boba, Fennec, 2 Gamorrean Guards, Bib Fortuna, also the other 3 minifigs from the Boba Fett throne room. And the remaining minifigs are actually all figs from Mos Eisley Cantina. I do not have a lot of space aliens from Star Wars, so I figured, hey, why not pull them from Mos Eisley Cantina? I know they're not going to be the most accurate in terms of if they were there and everything, so I get that, but I needed them to fill up the space. All right, so starting with the outside, we have the build is essentially built off of 2 ugly rock pieces, 2 burp pieces high, and then we have the throne room, the back to tank up above, and down below we have the Rancor pit, we have the hangar, and we have another transporter room. So let's start with the ground. We have got no vegetation really in Tatooine, so this is all going to be dark tan, light tan, dark brown and some browns. We're going to do some light bluish gray and dark bluish gray throughout this whole thing, with only, as you can see, a couple olive green 1x1 tile circular ones. So everything's gonna be very neutral tones throughout the build, and I ended up using a lot of slopes, a lot of cheese wedges, plates, wedges, all sorts of layering to build the dimension, some smooth tiles, some rough wedge plates still showing the studs to give it that feel. Now I did have some people comment that the front of it was looking too boxy, it looked too straight cliff drop, so I added this little protrusion, whatever you want to call it, coming out of the side of the hill, and I'm actually super thrilled that you guys gave me some critical feedback on that, because I think this turned out way better. I was running low on pieces, I was able to pull them out of different places of the build, and I ended up using a lot of slopes and cheese wedges around the whole rock front to make it really smooth so we didn't run into any issues. Now, this is the gate. I ended up using some reddish brown pieces and a couple, 2 nougat and some dark brown, just to give it that not so polished look. Now, here's what the whole set looks like as we do a 360 view. The side we're looking at right now, I had just enough pieces to pretty much finish it off, and I love the view from the back, all the arches, it feels really nice. But this side, I ran out of pieces to make it look really good, so this side is what it is. I won't really be showcasing it on display, showing that side. Now here's the Rancor pit. This was absolutely so much fun to build. This was the thing I was most excited to do. I was super pumped for it. The rock building was super fun, doing all the layering on the ground. We did a lot of plates and tiles and just little studs and whatnot. We did some bones. We added the skeleton, and I knew that the Rancor was actually going to be about 10 bricks high, and because I looked at pictures online, because I knew it was going to be a big fig, but holy crap, he is so big. Thankfully, I built it because I didn't have it on hand until I got it from my friend Elijah, but I'd already built this section out, and I put him in and he fit like a glove. It was perfect. So I added a couple spider webs, and just overall super happy with how this looks. There's a little hole up top that people can drop in from the throne room area. Now we move to the hangar. The hangar, I went online, I looked at a lot of reference pictures. I wanted to find some inspiration, and what I found was they have these arches, as you guys can see right there, all throughout the hangar that lead to big pillars and little gaps in between. So I used 12 wide bricks and put them on a few different layers, a few different pillars, so it looks good. I used some pieces from other Star Wars sets to add in there to give it kind of that messy hangar look. This is a little Easter egg. We have Han Solo from the very first Boba Fett slave one that LEGO ever made. I thought that'd be a nice touch. So we have him in the transporter getting moved around right here. We have the little gate entrance that Boba and Fennec break into in the show, and as they run into the hallway, you can see that they pass a few people that are being stored at the moment, and that hallway actually leads to the hangar right there. So we have these 2 rooms. The bottom one is just a sitting room, but I wish I actually would have made this the kitchen, and now the room up above that we're looking at, that's where I actually wish I would have made the kitchen, but it's just another room to have in the palace. Probably should have done either like an electronics room, but now onto the actual throne room. I kept the same chicken rotisserie thing in the back because I thought that and the build for the chair were actually very solid, and I think LEGO did a really good job. I kept the exact same throne chair. I did take it off though, however, like the plates on the bottom to make it a little bit lower. I added some seats across from the throne room, just like in the show and the movie, and I just added the figures all kind of hanging around Bib Fortuna because obviously he's kind of ruling the place at the moment. So I added the little red seats that gave a nice touch of color because everything is so neutral, so I was happy I did that. We did add the play feature where you can drop people down into the Rancor. You just slide this piece out, boom, they drop down into the Rancor pit. But let's talk about the back to tank. Actually, let's do this. Let's talk about the roof. I ended up buying these pieces. They're, I think, 10 or so studs tall and wide. These were pretty expensive, not gonna lie. They were like $8 to $10 a piece, each of those curve, like the big ones, but they were so worth it, especially for the build of this size. I was happy with how the roof turned out. But the back to tank room, I wanted to incorporate the back to tank and the throne, so I would have done things a little differently though, building the base, because it's a little tight of a room because the slopes all continue to push in how much room you have to work with by the time you get up here. And so I would have done things differently, but that's okay. So I worked with what space I had. I used the bracket bricks, or like the pivoting bricks, whatever you want to call them, in the back to be curtains, and then I hung up his weapons on the side and some, his helmet and jetpack on the other side, just to kind of give it that feel that he's going to hop in the back to tank. I was happy with how it turned out. I added a little rotating piece at the bottom, so when you put the back to tank in, you can rotate it, and this is how it turned out. I made a little back to tank. It's not perfect. I need to make a couple little adjustments, for example, down by his feet, but I used just a bunch of white pieces and then some translucent blue down underneath him, and I used a helicopter from the new hospital piece, the cover that covers the pilot. I use that for this. So anyways, I'm super thrilled with how this turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was so much fun to do. I really have never done anything of this size. The biggest I've ever done is my hospital MOC. But with that, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.